Downtown San Ignacio remains underwater as much as 8 to 10 feet of floodwaters as Tropical Depression Eta heads towards the north of Caribbean away from Belize. Over the past few days, the heavy torrential rains battered the west, causing the Mopan and Macal rivers to rise drastically and dangerously. This is an aerial view of San Ignacio, much underwater, and from the floodwaters surface, from inside a canoe, this resident paddles through downtown. Davis Adventure Tours is almost completely underwater. The sign of Bea's Delight is the only visible portion of the business. The waters are roof high. The flooding is unprecedented and highly unexpected. Families have been evacuated as the water continues to rise. Mayor Earl Trapp says that with the assistance of NEMO, about 50 persons have been evacuated and taken to the Bishop Martin Primary School for shelter.
People have been calling to be rescued and evacuated. We again engaged the proper department, NEMO, and NEMO again have been out there working in trying to evacuate and displace the people to the shelters.
In terms of the evacuation, how much or how many people have been evacuated? Are there any shelters open at this moment?
Yes, we have one shelter opened, as far as I'm concerned, at the Bishop Martin Primary School on Bullet Tree Road. That is what is being used at the moment. If I'm not mistaken, the last count or numbers I heard was a little over 50 people displaced there already, and more people were being evacuated.
The Welcome Center is flooded, and so are many of the businesses in downtown San Ignacio. Business owners are advised to empty their stores and secure their merchandise. Some did, transporting washing machine and stoves on a canoe to higher ground.
When water was reaching the Welcome Center and we see it's rising rapidly, then BL had to be called in to disconnect their wires. We had to again inform the business owners that they need to evacuate the Welcome Center and the downtown San Ignacio. We've been going door to door. Again, yesterday before the water reached the Welcome Center. But while some people heed the call, others were reluctant and hoping that waters wouldn't have reached their establishment. Unfortunately, water reached their establishment while they were away, and when they arrived, it's because water is already on the floor, thus making it much more difficult for them to pull out their merchandise. So I'm sure many of the goods got wet, so it means that it'll be a loss for the businesses that did not heed the call.
Severe flooding is being experienced in other areas of the Cayo district. This is San Jose Socots. The Mopan River has taken over the highway. In Santa Familia, the water level continues to rise. This is a bird's eye view of Bullet Tree Village, completely underwater.
People from Cala Creek, Bullet Tree area, people living along the riverbank has been displaced, but like I mentioned to some people this morning, many of those people have family members where they have been using to shelter. When we talk about people most affected here in San Ignacio, I would say it's mostly the business people, the business sector. Like for example, the market vendors had to be relocated here to the Falcon Field, and you could take a snapshot of that very soon when we go upstairs on the roof. You will see that basically 80% of the market vendors, or maybe more, are here at the Falcon Field. The other businesses are the people directly downtown, because we have other business in Santa Elena, but they are much more higher, so they weren't affected. It's only people more down by the riverbank and the immediate downtown area.
Roads leading to Bullet Tree and Santa Familia are impassable. Spanish Lookout is not accessible via the Valley of Peace Road. The Kayak Creek and the Mortomar roads are also underwater. And as the water continues to rise, it is expected that in the next 24 hours, the rains will continue and the situation will worsen. Mayor Trapp says that the council stands ready to continue to assist residents.
About 5 o'clock, I called the sanitation crew, since they work at 5. They begin working at 5, and I sent them to the downtown area to assist the different businesses and people that were out there trying to salvage some of their equipments. to give a hand. So, and then we were using the tractor and the trailer to ferry people out and their equipments. So we've been assisting that. We've been using our backhoes, our manpower to alleviate some of the drainage conditions as well. And that have been ongoing for the past, since Monday. We've been working with the backhoe and trying to clear up the culvert heads and carrying out some more drains and to avoid water from flowing directly into the people's yard. So we've been doing that.
And during the COVID-19 pandemic, Mayor Trapp says that his employees continue to be careful.
And because of the rain conditions, the flooding, and we have to cluster, we ask them to be very careful. You know, and I can tell you that this morning in point, I had to tell them that they will be going in an area where it is alleged that certain people are COVID-19. So I told them it's best they leave that to NEMO's personnel who have the expertise of dealing with it, because at the end of the day, I wouldn't want anyone to get infected with the virus. You know, so they know very well that they need to be careful out there. And what I've told them as well is that ensure that they always have a gloves on, their masks, and if there is any bags that are burst on the street, they need to use a rake and the container to pick it up, and still thereafter, they need to sanitize their hand with Clorox and water.
And with waters rising, the northern approach of the new bridge on Lomaluz Boulevard has begun flooding as the Macau River surges. Reporting for News 5, Hipolito, Novelo.